now proudly presented on SNME. That's Sunday night's main event, Patreon and free feed.
We just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's hit the shore fine. Winter ready on the four ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from the north.
3, 2, 1. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your host, your boy George Mackay, back here again for another MLW Rewind. And you know I never do this alone, or I don't do it by myself. We'll try to recapture some of the awesomeness we had yesterday, but it's not going to work. Unfortunately, we had audio issues yesterday recording. It was my fault. I bought all this new fancy equipment and I didn't do any tutorial like I should nowadays. I'm just trying to pull the tool, Tim the Toolman Taylor, and play with shit till it works, and it didn't work yesterday. But anyways, we're here now. The one and only Uncle Bobby B is joining me. Bobby, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I've been trying to get my home studio set up, and I bought like a digital audio workstation and a bunch of plugins and stuff, and it took me 4 days to get it so I could hear stuff. So I empathize with the technology issues. But hey, we're running, and we will try to recapture some of the
banter yesterday was on point. It was
yeah,
awesome.
it was great. Just too bad nobody heard it except us.
Oh no, there's only people that will hear it will be us. We'll remember those days fondly.
Like, did my pre-show song even survive?
I don't know.
Oh
no, yeah, no, your pre-show song did not make it.
That was
you hear my vocals.
Yeah.
It was random. All right, let's recap MLW anniversary, shall we? It is the 20th anniversary or 22nd anniversary with the hiatus in between, but they've been around since 2002, give or take, and they are celebrating with a kick-ass anniversary show. So this show kicks off with a recap of Battle Riot, everything that took place, Matt Riddle winning, the big reveal in the Telenova world of Salina de la Renta being the bastard child of Cesar Durant.
She's not a bastard child. That's her father. That's she's.
Yeah, but he didn't recognize her. Like he didn't. There was no saying, yes, this is my kid.
He didn't acknowledge her.
He didn't. There was no acknowledgement. It's not like that's my kid. Like he had a kid and he just left her in the wings. But for whatever reason, she's going to give him a Father's Day gift today. After just finding out for the better part of her 20-some years on this planet, she did not have a father. Now she does have a father, and she's going to give him a Father's Day gift. If I were her, I'd be like, yo, you owe me 20-plus years of birthday, Christmas, all kinds of gifts, quinceañera gifts, everything. You owe me all of it. I want it all. All of it.
Quinceañera gifts.
Like you owe it all to me. You know what I mean? And right off the hop, though, we get a Sessions with Saint Laurent, and he's interviewing Paul Walter Hauser. You all know him from Cobra Kai, Stingray, and all this stuff. He's interviewing him. And they traded a lot of insults back and forth. Now, Bobby, his team, Saint Laurent, okay? He is WTF through and through. He bleeds the red and the white. I am very pro-Canadian. I am. But when Canadians act like Saint Laurent is acting, I can't side with them. I can't. Because that's not what we're about.
What is he doing?
He's insulting someone who, so what if he wants to be a reverse Rock? He wants to start in acting and then become a pro wrestler.
It's not how it works.
It's not that different. Look at, for example, Kevin Smith, man. He wanted to write comic books, but for whatever reason, he couldn't get into it in the beginning. So what did he do? He made kick-ass movies. Okay?
Yeah,
now he's writing comic books.
You're not talking about writing comic books. You're talking about professional wrestling and sports entertainment. And
yes, I understand that, but
it's not the same thing.
PWH is entertaining. He is entertaining. He's not going to be wrestler of the year. He's not going to win any world championships, but he's entertaining. And at least
I see is a smear campaign, a campaign of disinformation against a legitimate promoter, the most legitimate promoter.
Did you and I watch the same show?
It's egregious the way that Paul Walter Hauser was exaggerating his injuries to garner sympathy from corporate power and the staff at MLW.
In an ambulance.
Oh, please. I've been taken away in an ambulance. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, I didn't even get to finish before you went on your tirade of defending Saint Laurent at WTF. Tom Lawler attacked this man with a chair when he was trying to defend himself against Saint Laurent.
Tom Lawler was moving some chairs.
Pushed first. He did. He pushed first.
Tom Lawler was helping out the staff at the facility, was moving some chairs. He was in
after
a hurry.
the show already began. Come on.
Paul Walter Hauser got in his way. It's his own fault. And I mean, what happens afterwards? Well, probably Lawler was a little upset because he got in his way, and you can't really blame him.
All right, yeah. So what you're saying is that PWH, he slipped, fell, and landed on the chair.
No, he got in the way
Okay.
of a chair that was in motion.
That was in motion to swat him on the back.
Well, no, it was being moved, and
Okay.
he got in the way. It's his own
Right.
fault.
Okay, so then fine, I'll bite on that for a second. I will. That the first one maybe he got in the way, but what about when Tom Lawler had the chair on his lower back and proceeded to push it into his lower back? What about that, Rob?
Well, that was probably a little bit of frustration that he's just trying to do a good deed to help the guys out at the people out at the facility, at the arena, and you got this Paul Walter Hauser, I want to be the Rock, David Arquette, Tiny Lister kind of thing, and
whoa.
I'm just
Listen, dude, Stingray is PWH is fire. Okay, he's a great actor.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tiny Lister. I was going to say I do not besmirch the memory of Tiny Lister. He was a fantastic guy. From
No,
what
I don't
understand.
besmirch Tiny either. Okay, Tiny was top tier. Okay,
but no, you're not like Stephen Amell. You see him still wrestling? No, you know why? Because he knows what he's good at. You're an actor. Be an actor. Okay, you're an actor. You're not going to come in here and take spots away from guys like Tom Lawler and expect not to get in the way when chairs are being moved.
Okay, all right. That was just a whole bunch of nonsense. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with us after all that, thank you guys so much for sticking around. That's for sure.
Of course, they're still with us because they appreciate being told the truth.
All right, whatever. My friend smokes a lot of weed, so it's all good. Adam Priest debuts against Bobby Fish. It's a solid match. That vicious exploder, you and I both agreed, was damn near.
That exploder looked perfect. Just the way the distance and the way he landed, it looked mint.
What about the velocity? Like the way he hit that turn,
he snapped him into it.
Yeah, 100%. That vicious exploder suplex though in the corner, and boom, 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 1, 2, 3. Bobby Fish wins it. But you know what? Great debut from Adam Priest, local talent, I believe, out there. So they're bringing him in, giving him a little bit more eyes on him, and it'll help elevate him for sure. And to put him in the ring with Bobby Fish, I mean, he held his own. It was a good 7-minute match. Fish just didn't walk in there and knock him out. Like, Priest got a few combos in, but for the most part, obviously Fish winning the match that day. And I thought for sure we were going to find out right after Bobby Fish won that match who he was going to face in the opening round of the Opera Cup, which starts on the anniversary show. We did not find it out right away, but we do find it out a little bit later in the show. And it's a barn burner when they announced who he's going to be facing. That's for sure. We'll get into that. But speaking of the Opera Cup, well, first thing first, I mean, we talked about the Exploder, but what were your thoughts on Adam Priest? What were your thoughts on Bobby Fish? What were your thoughts on the match as a whole?
Oh, I enjoyed the match. I thought both guys did a great job working for each other. Bobby Fish had those educated feet, the
PhD feet.
PhD feet. No, I thought Adam Priest looked good. Excuse me. Looked like a wrestler, moved around really well in there. I hope to see him back for some more stuff. But Bobby Fish taking the win, and I don't think Adam Priest even looked bad per se with this match. It was a solid way to open up the Opera Cup.
Absolutely. Well, this wasn't an Opera Cup match, but this was
the open up the show, not the
open up the show. There you go. Opera Cup round 1, though. Our first match is Davey Boy Smith versus Timothy Thatcher. This was a great match. Amazing ground combos and exchanges, submission holds, submission counters. It was old school wrestling at its finest. And Thatcher, like you mentioned yesterday, and I'll say yesterday because we did record this yesterday, but now we're doing it again. Thatcher knows he's not going to out-muscle a guy like Davey Boy. Davey Boy's got the muscle, he's got the strength, and he's got the height advantage. So what does Thatcher do? He breaks him down. And what does he do? He goes after his ankles. And the way he twisted that one ankle when he had his, I believe it was his elbow on the ankle and was curving it up, that looked like a curve on a hockey stick. When they slow motion replay it, when it gets slapped back, it was nasty. It was nasty. But Davey Boy, he wins via the power bomb. And this was a great way to kick off the Opera Cup. This was a match. It's too bad this was a first round matchup because I would have been okay if this was a finals matchup. I understand why it was a first round matchup, but I really enjoyed what I saw here. What do you got?
Oh, great way to open the cup. Highly, very technical. A lot of picks, arm picks, leg picks. Excuse me. Really enjoyed it. I enjoy technical matches. It seems to be a bit of a lost art these days. It's
very much
not. So. It's not like when we were kids. Technical matches were kind of like not as common, but still pretty common. And now we just don't see as much of them. It just reminds me we were at a Demand Lucha show. I want to say last year. Alex Shelley was against somebody, and they were having just like a purely technical match. It was similar to this, not as many stretches, but very technical, a lot of chains. And somebody was going like, man, these guys are really good, but this match is boring. And I'm like, it's not though. Like you're just bored because you haven't seen anybody like take a giant bump for the last 2 minutes. It's a lost art, but I find it highly entertaining. I love to see the innovation of Timothy Thatcher twisting guys up. Very entertaining and great way to open the cup. Davey Boy though, he's a powerhouse, and I think he just gained more muscle. So yeah, Timothy Thatcher had no option but to go after the joints, try and weaken the big man. Unfortunately, couldn't get the job done.
No, and then as he's walking past the cup for victory, Davey Boy and Saint Laurent stopped by Marquez, Mr. Dave Marquez, who's taken over the backstage interviewing duties for MLW. And Davey Boy begins to serenade us with the Canadian national anthem. Now, the Canadian national anthem, as we talked yesterday, is very operatic. It has to be sung in an operatic tone. And Davey Boy tried his heart out, but those American fans were not having it, and they booed him right off the stage. And also, Saint Laurent, I don't know if you noticed, but I went back and watched it just to make sure I was fact-checking. When he put his hand over his heart, he put it over the wrong side.
That's okay. I mean, yeah, Canada is one of those songs. Like, you know what? It's actually kind of weird to me. Like, I didn't realize that some people just like cannot carry a tune. Like, they can't even sing like a simple melody.
Really?
Like,
how long have you and I been friends? You've heard me sing. I can't carry a fucking tune.
Yeah,
bro.
but like worse than that. Like kind of.
Oh, thanks.
Like,
okay, so it's not. I'm not horrible. Is what you're saying?
No, but there's some people that just like cannot stay on key and sing consistently. Even
I've never hit a key in my life.
I hope not.
No, fuck, dude. I can't sing, bro. I can't. I don't even know what the keys are. Like, what's a A?
An A?
Like, what's a like? When you know when the singers do the like what
Yeah.
what you know?
A. I think.
I
I don't have perfect pitch, but that's like okay. So here's a aside. When you're tuning a guitar,
okay.
You tune the A string, which is the second string from the top, right?
Okay.
And you tune that to 440 hertz. That's the resonance frequency, and then you tune all the other. Yeah, that's a perfect A note, and then you tune the rest of the guitar around that primary A that you tuned.
So the A note is primary note.
Well, it's for standard tuning on a guitar, it's the main string you tune. But yeah, we tune to A at 440 hertz. You can tune to A at 338 hertz, but it sounds a little weird, and your music sounds weird. But people do it like it's a gimmick, different tunings and all that. But anyways, that's an aside. I don't know what a fucking A key is off the top of my head, an A note. But yeah, Saint Laurent tried. I mean, I won't take shots at him. He's a legitimate promoter.
Yeah, okay.
He's not a singer. I mean, you can't. He's
not equipped with that skill set. All I'm saying is, while Davey Boy was singing, at least put your hand over your fucking your heart, dude. Don't put it over the other side, bro. Like, what is happening?
He can do whatever he wants. Maybe his heart is on the other side. How do you know?
Whatever. Davey Boy was booed off the stage, and you know what the funny thing was? Davey Boy though, he didn't let it phase him. He said, "You know how you guys are not worth me singing the Canadian national anthem." Then he just walked off stage, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
And I mean, our national anthem is not the greatest national anthem.
Oh, we talked about this. We only have the like America has America the Beautiful, God Bless America. You know, the Star Spangled Banner. America's got a lot of different choices that could be the anthems. We don't have that. We just have the one.
And like they have, you know, like we have. And the rockets ring. Like they have that pop moment in their song. We don't really have that.
No, we don't.
Like we stand
on God for thee. Yeah,
like it's not. They're.
Oh, we could have that one part.
Banner.
What about that one part where it's like God keep our lands? That glorious. No, you can't pop there.
No, honestly, and I'm not even just saying this. Like the Star Spangled Banner is way more pop than "O Canada." Like, remember when we were in high school, they used to have to play like a rock version of "O Canada" just to keep us from falling asleep.
That's true. It's true.
Remember? Because we would just be standing there like dozing off. Like it was our national anthem is not the greatest. I'm gonna.
It definitely needs I feel like it needs a redo. I feel like our anthem is due for an update. 100%.
You know who's got a dope national anthem? Croatia. Check that out.
Okay. All right. Croatia. Got a dope national anthem according to Uncle Bobby B. Well, how about this? Crist taking on Bad Dude Tito for the Openweight Championship. This one was exactly what you would expect. Crist using his speed, getting away from Tito, doing some fast strikes and combos, but eventually too much. Tito caught up for him thanks to the interference of Rodriguez and BRG coming in. But if that didn't happen, Tito would have won cleanly. I mean, again, those interference was Tito knew about the interference, but BRG coming in, Tito didn't know about that. So I'm going to give Tito the benefit of the doubt. Regardless, he retains the Openweight Championship, and all BRG done is now pissed off the fire starter. Crist and BRG already had beef. Now this is going to elevate that beef to the point where Crist is going to want to get his hands on BRG sooner than later. But regardless, I enjoyed this match, and I enjoyed Crist. I see Crist now, and at this point in his career, he's in the best shape that he's ever been in, and he's having fun, which is what pro wrestling is all about. He looks like he's enjoying himself in that ring. You can see it on his face. You can see it on the way he interacts with the crowd. This is the best version of Crist I think we've seen as pro wrestling fans, and I couldn't be happier for the guy. Coming back the way he did, fighting over adversity, making everyone deserves a second chance. I'm point to prove of that. And I still have a lot of work to do on myself. But everyone deserves a second chance, and Crist is making the most of his second chance for sure. Rob, what do you got?
Yeah, like we were saying yesterday, off the air because we didn't catch it, but yeah,
everything's off the air. Whenever we mentioned yesterday from now on, guys, it was off the air.
Yeah, so you can tell he is having fun. He's enjoying pro wrestling again, and you see it with a lot of people. They wrestle, and then sometimes like they fall out of love with it, or their heart's not in it, but they keep doing it for whatever reason. I think he's a guy where his life was maybe causing him to not love wrestling as much. He found that love again. He's clean. He looks great. His wrestling looks great. And then to Bad Dude Tito, fantastic. I'm huge on Bad Dude Tito. Big Bad Dude Tito, Escondido like guy.
Not as much as you do, but I do like Bad Dude Tito.
I am high on Bad Dude Tito, and I think the way that this match finished, it kept Crist from looking bad. It kept either guy from looking like they lost, because nobody really lost clean. It advances things with BRG and Crist, and obviously Jake is probably looking to put the young BRG over, but who knows what will happen with that. It'll be interesting to see. It was a solid match. Tito remains and retains, and I don't think he's going to be stopped anytime soon.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more. Well, David Marquez catching up with Cesar Durant backstage. And CD surprisingly says he's always wanted the best for Salina. And that's why he was never with her. Somebody put that on a Hallmark card, because that's a Father's Day card.
That is a novel defense. I'm not sure if any absent father has ever used that one before, besides maybe like Darth Vader. I can't like, this is genius from CD. There's no like I went out to get milk and I got lost or something. It was just like I wanted to
buy a pack of cigarettes and never return.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's a little bit upset though, Rob. He's upset because his Father's Day gift is late. And he is a good father. Okay? He is. And he expects his Father's Day gift to be on time, not a week late. Regardless, he's going to get his Father's Day gift a little bit later tonight. Now Marquez catches up with Matt Riddle and asks him, when will you cash in? Riddle says he's going to cash in soon. Could be in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. He also did say next year, which makes it not soon. So I'm sure that was probably the weed talking at that point. But Sammy interrupts and they exchange a flurry of shots, get into a big little, locker room brawl, if you will. The cameraman gets Sammy thrown at him before he topples over. The MLW cameraman, they put themselves in harm's way a lot to get us the goods and the information. So, bless that camera crew over there at MLW. They're always putting themselves in harm's way, but they get the job done. They get the shot done. And as this brawl spills out of the locker room, we kind of go back to Bobby Fish now, who's on commentary. And it's just been announced that his first round match in the Opera Cup will be against New Japan's own and AEW's own Kenta. Huge bombshell of a match. And he mentions that they have faced each other, but not in a while. And these two versions that they're going to face are new to one another. Kenta's grown as Bobby Fish has grown as a performer. So now they're going to be facing two new versions, better versions, as Bobby Fish put, of themselves. Before we get into the next match, Rob, what are your thoughts on everything that Bobby Fish has stated about his upcoming opponent, Kenta.
It is a valid point. They are going to be different versions of themselves. They're both a little older and wiser. Kenta has rejuvenated his career since leaving that other place. Bobby, I wouldn't say as rejuvenated because his career didn't really need rejuvenation. He was already pretty.
He
was
stayed
coming off.
very in the know, though. He stayed very working. Yeah, he's
He
working.
came off being a member of the Undisputed Era, which was a massive, successful faction.
100%.
So and you know, he's in the probably the tail end of his pro wrestling career. I think he's on the other side of 40 by now. So you know, he's right, and this is going to be an interesting match because while your speed may slow a bit as you get older, your power doesn't necessarily, and both these guys are known for laying in their shots. So this is going to be something exciting.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. It's going to be a tale of the feet, not a tale of the tape. It's going to be a tale of the feet.
Okay.
That's what it's going to be. Next, listen, I thought that was good. I'm going to go with the quip. Don't bring me fucking down with it, okay? All right, next match, next uppercut match, and Bobby Fish is joined on commentary for this one is Kwon versus AKIRA. This match was by far match of the night for me. It really, really was. These two went at it. We got to see AKIRA, and Bobby Fish mentioned it in a lot of ways. AKIRA, the transition game that he has from offensive maneuver to offensive maneuver to offensive maneuver is seamless. AKIRA was firing on all cylinders in this match, and Kwon gave him everything that he could, but AKIRA was victorious because of that transition game. And when a guy like Bobby Fish takes notice of the transition game, and even Bobby Fish said he respects AKIRA. He didn't want to shake AKIRA's hand in the last match because he didn't feel he needed to show respect to AKIRA. But he does respect AKIRA, and he said he utmost respects that transition game. One of my highlight moments was when he went from that pin, right from the pin into the reverse figure four. That was impressive. I also did dig on the transition from when he went right from, I think it was a suplex or a power slam, and right into the ankle lock. Like, it was seamless, all the maneuvers that he was pulling out. And AKIRA wins this match via the death penalty. I enjoy this match. Like I said, for me, this was match of the night. I enjoyed every minute of this match from bell to bell. Rob, what do you got?
I pretty much agree with you. I thought everything was good in terms of the timing. Both guys looked really good in there. I love the striking. I love the death penalty. It's a cool finisher. It's nothing like
Great finisher.
outlandish, but it's simple and effective, and that's what I like about it. So this was a solid match. I don't know if I call it my match of the night, but I definitely enjoyed it. It was a banger.
Fair enough. After this match, Lawler was on his way out after the assault on PWH, saying he did it to himself. That fat pud did it to himself.
As I said, he was in the way while Tom Lawler was moving with a chair.
So body shaming the man was okay too after he'd been taken to hospital. That was okay.
Nobody was body shaming him.
Really, he called him a fat pud, dude.
Well, I can't comment on the pud, but he's carrying a few extra pounds. I mean, if you called me a bald fucking white guy, I wouldn't get upset because I'm a bald white guy. You see where I'm going with this?
Mads Krügger promo. Contra is stronger, rebuilt in his image. And I think that's factual. This is the best version of Contra I think we've seen. Joseph Samael was a big fan of the camera, a big fan of the mind games and the big, political speeches. Whereas Mads Krügger, he doesn't use words, he uses actions. And Contra has been more violent and more deadly this time around. And the addition of Minoru Suzuki definitely kicks up the violence level a huge amount. I think I posed this question to you yesterday, but I'll pose it again. Minoru Suzuki, how much time do you think he's going to be a soldier before he wants to be a leader?
I mean, Suzuki had Suzuki-gun back in New Japan. He had a faction. He's another guy who's on the tail end of his career, most likely. He actually might be okay just being a part of the process and causing some havoc and not necessarily looking to take the reins. Krule has been on a tour of terror, let's call it. Shout out to our boy Matt Grant, who got put through 2 tables by Krule at Combat 1 a couple
we
weeks
went
ago.
Through both, but he only went through one. Then Krule went out to and put him through.
Came back out and put him through. So shout out Matt. That video's been going around, and we're super happy for Matt because he went viral before with an edge spot doing the. Remember they were hanging from the
party spot. Yep. Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
you know, for a guy who's like 5'8", $150, he's gone viral a couple times. So good on you, Matt. Anyways, Krule has been on a tour of terror
Absolutely.
throughout MLW and the Indies. Everybody should be genuinely scared of this man right now. And I think that Suzuki doesn't fear him, but he recognizes that Krule is a force. I don't think Suzuki is scared of anything or anyone.
Do you think Suzuki respects Krule's
I think
psycho?
it's a respect for the unhinged mindset.
Right. Like I'm unhinged, but I respect that you're even more fucking unhinged.
Right. And like I don't really care who's a leader, who's a follower. Let's just go fuck things up.
As long as you're going to allow me to hurt people, I'll
That's
follow you.
it.
I
That's
think
it.
you're right. Okay, you know what? I retract. I was going to lean the other way, but you know what? You've
I
changed my mind. I
I
retract.
retract my earlier statement, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, I didn't really make a statement. I just asked you, and then I was going to make my statement. But you know what? There's no need to. So I retract the fact that I even was thinking of something else because you changed my mind. You didn't change my mind about Saint Laurent. Fuck that guy. But you changed my mind about everything else. All right, Jazzy Wang making her debut. Okay, Jimmy Wang's daughter. And interesting fact, he debuted in MLW at 21. And how old do you think his daughter is? 21.
26.
No, 21. So this was a pretty cool fact. And she goes up against Dani Jordyn and Miyu Yamashita. Now, Miyu Yamashita and Dani Jordyn, they monopolized most of the time. And there was a lot of times getting Jazzy out of the ring so they could do a little one-on-one action. Obviously, because she's green, she did get her spots when they were all three of them were working together. And Miyu was victorious in the end. This was a decent match. And I liked how they separated Jazzy, but gave her time individually to work with each other. Then also did, some 3-on-3s, which was great. Everybody worked with each other at one point or another. I enjoyed this match, but Miyu winning, I mean, it was destined compared to Danny's a 7-year vet. Jazzy, I believe, is a year or two in. Still greener out of the three. But the experienced 2-decade Miyu Yamashita definitely getting the win. But I enjoyed this match for what it was. Absolutely. Rob, what do you got?
I enjoyed it. I thought they worked it really well given I don't want to say inexperience, but I guess you could, and I don't mean it in a negative way. The inexperience of Jazzy, it was a lot of one person's on the outside while the other two were working in the ring. They had their three-way spots, but they kept it simple. There was I don't know how well Miyu Yamashita speaks English, and I could just tell you from example, like when guys from here in Ontario go out to an international wrestling syndicate in Montreal, and you've got somebody from Ontario and then three guys maybe from Quebec, and one might speak English, one doesn't know any English, and one just doesn't want to speak English, and you've got to work a match with three other people. It can be a challenge. So the way they worked this, the communication looked like it was good. There was no like missteps or missed spots. I really enjoyed it. Nice to see Jazzy Yang getting some time in front of the camera at 21 years of age. That's really important to know how to work for TV and to be comfortable with being on camera, having that exposure. So good for her, and good to see, proud Papa in the crowd. Congratulations to her. That is awesome. But yeah, Miyu Yamashita was destined to win this one. She is, in my opinion, actually one of the best women working pro wrestling today. I think she's absolutely fantastic.
I couldn't agree more. I actually couldn't agree more. Again, I'm not changing my opinion, but you're reiterating everything that I said. So I like it. Sami Callihan promo. He's waking the cameraman up after he threw Matt Riddle onto the cameraman. He's waking him up, telling the cameraman to hold it straight, point the camera in his fucking face. And he says, Riddle has not beaten me. He hasn't. Riddle has not beaten Sami Callihan, according to Sami Callihan, but he wants one more time. Any match. He doesn't care because at Blood and Thunder, he will end Matt Riddle and he will take his golden ticket. And you know what? Only a few moments later, we find out that Matt Riddle has accepted the challenge and he picked the match. He picked the stipulation and he went with a no ropes death match. So Sami Callihan, the Death Machine, is going to take on Matt Riddle at Blood and Thunder in only a couple of weeks in a no ropes death match. The winner gets the golden ticket. Now, yesterday, Rob, you had some strong feelings about Matt Riddle agreeing to this match and putting that golden ticket on the line. Go ahead.
I mean, if I'm Matt Riddle and I'm sitting at home, maybe smoking a blunt, chilling out, I don't see any reason why I have to take something that I just won that solely belongs to me and I have no obligation to defend it in any way. And I'm just going to put it on the line because Sami Callihan wants to. Why would you do that? Why even risk losing something? I would have told Sami Callihan to kick rocks. I've been like, you want to wrestle me? Wait till I win the championship. Come for me then. I'm not going to waste my time or my energy in a no rope street fight where I could get pretty fucked up. I don't see the logic in why. If I'm not Riddle, I tell Sami Callihan to go eat shit. I tell him he can cut a promo with all the blood rushing to his head until it explodes like Louis Del Grande in Scanners. I don't care. I wouldn't be taking that under any circumstance. But that's me. I'm not as high as Matt Riddle. I wish I was. So only Riddle can tell you why Riddle took that match. But if the King of Bros wants to go, he's gonna go.
100%. Listen, I'm not going to speak for Matt Riddle, but if I can offer an opinion, I don't feel like he was backed into a corner, but I felt like if he didn't put that golden ticket up or didn't agree to those terms, he wouldn't be able to get his hands on Sami in a controlled environment. And even though a no ropes death match is not really a controlled environment, there is a ref there. So he wants that controlled environment. He wants to make sure there's no excuses. And if putting that on the line gets him to put his hands around Sami Callihan's neck one more time, he's going to do it.
So
So
that I jumped Sami Callihan in the back while he's biting the heads off of pigeons or whatever it is he does in his spare time. I beat him. I knock him out with my fucking flip flops that Riddle wears. If I'm him, okay. You want you want to play with dirty people? You got to play dirty games, okay?
All right, fair enough. Well, I love this. Atlanta's very own Gary Gister, legendary wrestling promoter and executive. He gets honored with the MLW Lifetime Achievement Award. And didn't really know much about Gary. And then they played
no
the
idea.
package. And Gary Juster has been in this business for the better part of 4 decades. He's been around since the early 80s. And awesome fact, actually, he's been in it since he was born because he was brought into this world by Ric Flair's daddy. Ric Flair's daddy was the doctor that was the OBGYN in the hospital. It's pretty crazy.
That is pretty wild. And it was funny. We were talking about it yesterday. And I was going, I have never heard the name Gary Juster before. I can't believe it because I like to think I know a thing or two about pro wrestling and the history. And I have no, yeah, I like to think I never heard of this. But as thinking about it over the last day, I do recall the name Gary Juster coming up a fair amount on Eric Bischoff's podcast, which I used to listen to a lot, 83 Weeks, because Eric would bring up Gary Juster, just the name, because Juster is a pretty uncommon last name. I never heard it in my life ever. Anyone last name Juster. So it kind of triggered. But what a career this man had. And again, I got to stop saying this. As I mentioned yesterday, if you've been in the business that long, and I don't know, I haven't heard any stories about this man or negative things about this man. If you're in the business that long and there's no stories going around about what a piece of shit you are, you must be a pretty good dude or gal or whomever. So kudos to Gary Juster getting the acclaim in his hometown of Atlanta. He's clearly had a big impact on pro wrestling and worked with some of the biggest names, the biggest shows in the business. So congratulations to him. I love that MLW does stuff like that. It's a little bit of giving back to pro wrestling. Everyone wants to know what pro wrestling can do for them. Ask what you can do for pro wrestling.
Oh, nice. I like that. Well done, sir. Well done. 150%. Well, now it's main event time, and it's Mads Krügger going at the one called Manders in a bull rope match. Manders, very quick to pull a Krügger, if you will. As Krügger's making his entrance, Manders attacks him outside the ring, puts the rope on his wrist, and then puts the rope on his own wrist, and the match officially begins. Doesn't matter if it's inside the ring. The only way the match can begin is when the bull rope is attached. Both opponents are attached to the bull rope. So once that was on, ding, 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 and all bets are off. Manders was in control the early going, but Mads Krügger, too much to handle. And just when Manders was getting that second win, that opening, Janai Kai interferes and gives Manders a wicked kick to the back of the head. And at that point, Krügger for the pin, 1, 2, 3. And after that, all of Contra comes out, and everyone is just torturing Manders. They're dragging him all over the arena by that rope. Matt Justice, he's not having any of that. He's going to come out and defend his friend. He tries to stop it to no avail. He is left in the hallway on the floor, beaten down, and Krügger is literally taking Manders, dragging him out to the parking lot to possibly never be seen again. Obviously written off TV because contracts are ending. And
to possibly
Justin,
never be seen again. Sorry.
possibly never to be seen again on MLW TV. Anyways, Matt Justice is all alone, and we know at Blood and Thunder we're gonna get one more match between Krügger and Justice. That's gonna happen for sure. Before I get your opinions on this, real quick, it's Father's Day time. That's right. Salina is about to give CD his Father's Day gift, and the gift is a baby. That's right, not his baby, his grandbaby. She is expecting his first grandchild, and CD looking at her with a vicious, vindictive smile, like he is going to take this future granddaughter or grandson and mold it into his image, which I don't see Salina letting go with anybody of a fight. But congratulations to Salina de la Renta on her upcoming family edition, and congratulations to Cesar Durant to have another person to possibly brainwash and or torture.
You know what really excites me about this is just knowing the way MLW does things and kind of that crossover between the typical pro wrestling we're used to in America and the telenova style stuff that we see in Mexico or Latin American countries. I cannot wait to see how this birth is presented. Like, is it gonna be she's written off like TV for a while, like she's kidnapped so she can go have her baby and take some time off in peace, be with her family? Or are they working the whole thing into an angle, like 2 days after, the day after she's out of the hospital with the baby, they're filming vignettes with Cesar? You know what I mean? I really cannot wait to see.
Baby. He kidnaps
like I because I thought about him, like they could do another kidnapping angle or whatever. She gets written off TV for a bit, which would be completely understandable. Take some time off and be with your husband or your child or whomever. You be by yourself with your child, whatever you want to do. But knowing the way they are, I feel like there's so much opportunity to do something with that. So I'm just waiting with bated breath for how this is handled, and hope best of luck to her on a healthy and successful pregnancy.
150%. And what are your thoughts on the Bullrope match and the fact that Manders may never be seen again?
I mean, it is a shame because I think Manders, the whole SGC brought a lot of oomph to MLW.
A lot of fun. The SGC was a lot of fun.
The stuff they did with the calling was great. Like, I was already a fan of all these guys individually before this. So I was super happy when they showed up in MLW. I thought they did pretty much what they were brought in to do, was to make us laugh, make us smile, make us enjoy some wrestling. The stuff they did with Microman was gold. So they will be, if one or all are on the way out, they will be sorely missed in MLW. You can catch them all over the indies, though. The match itself was pretty fitting of both guys. Like, Manders gets it. If you're gonna play dirty games with dirty people, you got to play dirty. So he went right after Mads Krügger. He wasn't waiting on ceremony. Two big boys colliding. Don't see enough Bullrope matches anymore, and Manders is the perfect guy for it. He's that kind of modern Stan Hansen-ish, boss of the plains vibe. So it's a shame to see Manders go, but I think he went out on a high note.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Well, that's it, guys, for this one. That is our MLW anniversary show rewind in the can. As always, I'm your host, your boy, George Bukai, and this is Uncle Booble B.
That's me. And yeah, I just want to reiterate that we at the show officially disapprove of the campaign of misinformation and just an entirely malicious and unfounded campaign by Paul Walter.
I am the executive producer of the show. Your comments must be gone through me.
I am the most legitimate podcaster. So
that's a load of horse shit. From the most legitimate podcaster to the wannabe legitimate podcaster. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you guys on the next rewind.
Au revoir.
You can't just switch it up like that.
We just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's hit the shore fine. Winter ready on the full ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from